And, so you never knew. The point is, with the security, they could be fans. I've told a story about the cops that pulled Bobby and Dennis over in Louisiana for speeding and impounded their van and left them sitting at the courthouse and were fans of the rock and roll, wanted to know what we had used and why we used ether on them to beat them on TV. It just depended. So, but regular towns, usually the cops were okay. And sometimes they weren't. What can I say?
You once sent me a film, I forget where it was from, somewhere in the Tennessee territory, where a cop actually went for his gun in the ring.
No, that was in Louisville.
Oh.
And it's on, as a matter of fact, it is on the, if you buy Tuesday Night at the Garden. No, I tell a lie. That's too early. This was in 1979. But I'll put it on the sequel. Lawler and Jimmy Hart were getting some heat on Ken Lucas, as the way I remember it. And then they beat up the referee. Possibly the referee was Tommy Marlin, who just passed away not too long ago, one of the Marlin brothers. And so as they were getting the heat, a fan eludes security because they were all rushing up around the ring, and the cops are trying to keep everybody back, and the ushers, and one guy just ducks under the rope and ducks under everything and rolls under that bottom rope and starts wailing on Jimmy Hart. And Jimmy didn't know what the fuck had him because he's on top of Ken Lucas. But at that point, the cops come right, and I think Lawler was over in the corner with Tommy Marlin. It was a chaos. The cops come in and grab the fucking guy. And you see, now you got about 6 uniformed cops in the ring. And the cops in Louisville in the Gardens, because of the crowd, until like 79 or 80, almost to this point, actually wore riot helmets for their on duty, but they had quit doing that because things had eased up a little bit, but they still had not only guns but sticks and the whole 9 yards. They're fully uniformed. So there's about 6 of them in the ring, and they grab this guy and they throw him over the top rope like a shoot battle royal move. He cartwheeled they threw him over the top rope. And if there were fans standing underneath, you can see him go over on the film. You can see him go over the side there, and people just got out of the fucking way. And there was already a couple of cops there waiting to grab him. And one of the cops turns around. Jerry Jarrett is supposed to do a run-in, and he's in his street clothes because he's the promoter, right? They're doing an angle. He comes in because it's his time right under the ropes in the corner. As the cop turns around, he sees somebody else crawling in with his street clothes and grabs his gun. You see it plain as day. And as soon as Jarrett popped his head up where the cop saw, oh, that's Jerry, he turns right around, continues on with the guy they just thrown out. That was regular shit. But once again, it was feast or famine. You never really let your guard down as to whether you could completely trust the cops to protect you. Henceforth, that's why sometimes matters got took in their own hands. Anyway, having said that, thank you very much. What was his name? I've thrown the email down now. Raven, for I guess his or her, I've known both, if that is indeed your real name, for your question. Did you hear the big news, Brian? The big news from this past week.
I don't know.
The WWE Hall of Fame has announced its latest inductee. That's JEFF, JARRETT. That's double J, y'all. Jeff Jarrett in the category of hell has frozen over again. At this point, climate change is real not only on this earth but also in hell, apparently. Because I froze them for a week last year. And now it's a regular thing now. They're having the freeze of the century in hell every year now. It is not only global warming, but it is Hades warming.
I don't know. I'll tell you what I tweeted. I'll change it a little bit too. I'll add to it. What I tweeted is the way I really felt. Congratulations to Jeff Jarrett on being inducted into the "we just paid for your rehab, now kneel, boy" wing of the Hall of Fame. That's what it is.
See, I was not going to – I was actually – because I'm not mad at Jeff, and I like Jeff, and everybody knows Jeff.
I'm not mad at him. I'm being honest.
But I got in that debacle last fall because he's a friend of mine. I was approaching it from the hell has frozen over again category because of you would never expect something. But you don't have to go there with it. That's all I'm saying, for heaven's sake. We need to be positive with this thing. It's not but maybe that was part of the, are you saying that was part of the reimbursement or the part of the rehab paid deal? He had to go in the Hall of Fame?
No, I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying it seems like there's a little bit of a track record of they get a guy, they get him to clean up, they pay for it, and then they put him in the Hall of Fame. And then, if you want to play this out a little further, and then the person says that they've got a problem with the way the WWE deals with something, and they get cut off, and the WWE says we'll never send them to rehab again, but then they relapse, and the WWE sends them to rehab again, and they get back in the... I've seen this play out so many times already.
Well, what I tweeted, and I thought, and some people didn't actually get it. I'll tell you what I tweeted. I said, because people started, tweeting pictures of me with Jeff because I managed him in the WWF part of the time, for a while there. And they were tweeting the pictures of us together, and they said, "Well, will you induct Jeff?" Like suddenly, last year I inducted Rock and Roll. They expect this year I'm going to, like, I'm suddenly the roast master general of the Hall of Fame. I'm Jeffrey Ross showing up every year to fucking put some. I don't think it works that way, but
Freddie Roman.
Well, there you go. Norm Crosby for fucking anyway. So I tweeted, I would be happy. Congratulations to Jeff for going in the Hall of Fame. I'd be happy to induct him if he asked me, but I'm afraid that either the WWE would go out of business or move to Canada. Time Jeff asked me to do something, trouble follows, right? So it's either he gets sent home, I get fired from a fucking position, or the company moves to Canada, or whatever the case may be. So I'll just watch from home. But I was congratulations. But now you've got me. I'm not talking about Jeff now. I'm just talking about the Hall of Fame in general. And I wish I had a roster of the Hall of Fame inductees here with me, but so I could refer to it. But is this why, do you think, now that I think, is this why I've not been inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame? Have I not followed the proper protocol for being inducted in, not only with the WWE, but in any company or promotion or anybody I've worked for? I have never shown up in no condition to perform or performed under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or substances. I've never held anybody up for more money. I've actually given some people money back when I felt bad for them. Not often. I've never refused to do a job or put anybody over, or my people I manage refused to put anybody over. It's actually a couple times we suggested that we should put other people over. I've never walked out without a notice except for WCW, but I never did do that to then show up directly for the opposition. I've never no-show. I'm trying to think of all the things people can do wrong. I've never no-showed an event, almost. Never with no reason. I've had a couple times with no. I've had plane fuck-ups. I had gout here a couple of years ago in my big toe. There's been problems with the promoters, such as they never fucking got back with me or whatever. But and especially in the territory days, except for a situation where I'd said I would sit in a hotel instead of go to Saginaw or whatever the case. So I've never gone into business for myself on somebody's show without doing shit that was approved beforehand. Have I not followed the proper protocol to get in the Hall of Fame? And I've never been to rehab. And I got to be honest with you, if it wasn't a company that I was, just to bring it up, if it wasn't a company that I was currently working for at that time, actually I would be, I'm just not the person. I would pay for it myself if I needed it rather than if I can ask somebody else to, but that's just me. But
I think if you look at the qualifications of who gets into the WWE Hall of Fame, and if you look past the quotas, every year it has to be at least one woman. Every year it has to be one African American. It had been one international candidate. I don't know if they'll still do that. It's pretty much, they have a protocol that they follow each and every year. But I think the problem is with all your bluster, you're really a teetotaler. You've never accused Vince McMahon of anything awful. You've never accused the company of being awful. You've never said truly heinous things about Triple H or Stephanie. I think once you do those things...
Actually, on Johnny Ace's voicemail, I have a couple, yes, I will admit to saying some truly heinous things to everybody named McMahon on Johnny Ace's voicemail, probably 2 or 3 times.
It wasn't public enough, so they're not going to bring you into the Hall of Fame.
Well, and I've never accused any of them of being in league with the devil, or in collusion with anybody over a murder or any of serious crime, as far as I know of. Well, impersonating wrestlers.
If you do any of those things, you'll be the main event of the next year Hall of Fame. You know,
I do sound like a goddamn choir boy when you think about it. Because here's the thing. So people go, why is Cornette so hard to work with? It's for people I've never worked with. Or, well, why does anybody hire Cornette? For people say that I've never worked for. But unless you lie to me, try to fuck me around, or run a shit show or do some really off-brand stupid shit, I can't remember anybody I've had a problem with.
I've always found you to be quite enjoyable to be around.
Well, let's not get romantic. Good Lord, don't say it like that. And that actually was kind of a roundabout way of saying some shit anyway.
But, you know, with the WWE Hall of Fame, at the end of the day, who cares? Because it's like a Bitcoin. It's like a cryptocurrency. There's no foundation. It's built on bullshit. There's no building. There are no statues in a building. There are no plaques in a building. You don't pay admission and go look at the walls of plaques and say, oh, who's Antonina Rocca? I have no idea. Let me read this and learn something. None of that happens. It's bullshit. It's whoever Vince McMahon decides that year. Hey, Coco Ware, I haven't seen him in a while. Hall of Fame. That's all it is. It's not some big thing where people vote and different people have different voices. It's all bullshit. It's on a foundation of bullshit.
So you're like Dream Machine Troy Graham said once about Jerry the King Lawler on Memphis, Tennessee. Jerry Lawler, you just like the city of Memphis. You was built on a bluff.
Exactly.
Well, now you've just cut a promo and said this was supposed to be you've led it in a dark direction, Brian. This was supposed to be the happy talk in between me bitching at people, and now you've just cut a promo on somebody, and I got a segue to cut a promo on somebody. So hopefully people won't be upset there's too many promos.
You think Jeff's going to thank Dixie?
Privately, possibly. I don't think he's good. I would hope to God that they wouldn't allow. Now that ought to be something Kevin Dunn ought to bleep, for heaven's sake. And besides, thank her for what? Taking the company that I started and fucking running it into the goddamn ground? Sending me home and hiring a bunch of stupid people to replace me and never doing as well again? What could he thank her for? The blowjob?
Hey,
probably. Hey. Maybe. Who knows?
But congratulations, Jeff Jarrett, first member of the Bullet Club to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I don't know how much deeper they're going on that roster. But yeah, congratulations, Jeff. It was trying to be a lighthearted note and we took it on a dark turn, but congratulations, Jeff. And hopefully he'll not sing. But I have to turn from we were talking about goddamn how easy I am to work with, and unless you just really do something stupid and piss me off or just a general dumb fuck, I have to go to dumb fuck. The dumb fuck, the Archbishop of Talentberry, the king of all dumb fucks, Vince Russo, whose name I have not mentioned here in so long. And there's a backstory to this. I hope the cult is enjoying catching up because I haven't been able to tweet about a lot of this stuff. So we're just having the catch-up call this week. Somebody else emails me the other day. Says, well, he's up to it again, right? And, of course, wanted to get me to respond. But he wasn't really wanting to get me to respond publicly because this is why I'm responding publicly. Because the email said, I know that since he got the restraining order against you, you can't talk about Vince Russo anymore. I couldn't leave that go because I didn't know there were people that thought that. So the real reason why I've not been speaking about Mr. Russo of late is because I finally did agree with people that I'm keeping him more over than he can keep himself. Exactly. That he has such a limited audience and people have seen through the shit by now. And plus I've been standing back and letting other people take him apart with facts. Anybody from Mike Johnson to Dave Meltzer to anybody else who Meltzer actually said he wouldn't go on Russo's show until his IQ dropped to the level of an eggplant. But I mean, just at this point, people have seen through him. So we had the fun with the restraining order, raised $30-something for the Crusade for Children. It's the only thing he's ever written that's actually generated money for any good cause. And I was standing back and letting other people take him apart because he's such an idiot, and also because his visibility has decreased to the point he doesn't do live tours that much. Because actually, also Sean Oliver's new book, mentions that when they brought him up for a show a couple of years ago,